Class, I'm sorry I won't be there today, but I don't want you to get behind. I want to be there myself to explain the word problems. So let's start on Thursday's homework. So turn to Thursday's homework. I wrote some notes on the same page that may help you understand the topic. Now, prior to this, we've been studying inequalities where you have the greater than and less than, greater than or equal to, less than or equal to. Now, we're not doing that right now. Cross that out of your head. We're going back to just plain equals now. Okay? So, the name of the concept we're studying is called system of equations. Many of you never heard of it. That's okay. But just pay attention and watch, and you'll see it's going to come together for you. So write this down in your notes. A system of equation describes a situation. That's basically what it does when we start with the word problems. We use a system of equations. That means it's more than one equation on a graph. Basically, it's more than one equation. Where before you have been graphing one equation, now you will be graphing two equations on the same graph. Okay, and so on the second note, the system equation has more than one equation on the graph, like I just said. The third note, where the graphs intersect, is called the solution or the answer. And the next note, a system of equation can have one solution where it crosses. We'll talk about it in a few minutes. No solutions. That means it's a parallel lines. When they graph them together, they don't intersect at all. That means there's no solution there. And infinitely many solutions means that when you graph it, you're going to graph two equations, but it's going to be on the same line. All right? All right. I know you all can do this. So let's look at number one. If you remember, how to graph this by hand. Let's do it without the calculators now. So without the calculators, we're going to find the y-intercept for the first equation. So what is the y-intercept? You're right, it's -2. So we're going to go down here, we're going to mark it. You're going to think this is so easy. Now what is the slope? The slope is 1. That's understood to be a 1 by the x. So you can go up 1 and over 1. It's a positive slope, so it's going to be up a hill, up 1 and over 1. And do as many if you want, up 1 and over 1. Now I will use my line tool and try to draw a straight line connecting the points. Okay, now we have graphed the first one. Okay, so we have graphed the first one here. Check. Now let's graph the second one. So I'm going to use green. What is the y-intercept? 6. So we'll mark 6. Okay. So what is the slope? It's a negative. So it's going to go down a slide. So if I were to go up, okay, I'm going to go to the left. Okay, so we want to go down the slide. Okay, so up 1 over 1. Looks like that's where it's intersecting right there at that point. Up 1 over 1. Okay, now I'm going to use my line tool and connect it. Now you can use the calculators, but not today because I'm not here. But you do need to learn how to do this on by hand. So now we have this graph and we see it intersects at this point. Let's count. Where is that? Looks like that's -2, -4. So -2, -4 is our solution to this system of two equations. Now, you can always check your work if you put the value -2 for x, okay, which would be -2, and for the x in the problem, -2 I'm just substituting. Instead of x, I'm writing the negative 2 because that's what it said it is. So negative 2 minus 2 is equal to a negative 4. Isn't that what we said y was, negative 4? Look at there. Looks like it's right. It has to work for both equations. So let me change my color. And let's look at the x here is a negative x. Okay, so we're going to say a negative x would be negative, and a negative 2 is the x. So negative x is the opposite. It's going to make it a positive 2 minus 6. Is that going to give us our y, which is a negative 4? Yes. So you know that the solution to this the equation, to this system, is negative 2, negative 4. Now, there's going to be several methods that you can use in solving a system. Today, we're using the method of graphing. I don't want to overload you and tell you all the other methods. Let's just focus on this one. Okay, I feel some of you are still confused, and that's okay. Let's do the next problem. Okay, number 2. Now, class, for this to work, it has to be in y equals. So some of the problems on the sheet may not be in y equals, so we have to change it up, all right? So all of this, things that you've already learned that we're just putting in for 2 equations in one graph. So let's do the first one. What is the y-intercept? You got it. It is negative 2, right? What is our slope? It's a positive slope. 1 is understood to be in front of the x. So I'm going to go up 1 and over 1. I got it? Up 1 and over 1. Up 1 and over 1. You barely can see those dots, but let's see. Get my line tool here. Starting at negative 2, make it as straight as possible so you'll get the right intersection. You can always check with your calculator later. Now, let's look at the second problem. You're starting at negative 3. Okay, so this is going to be harder to see, but we're going to work with it. So I'm going to make this a blue dot. Okay, so we're at negative 3. So we're going to go up 2, is still positive, up 1, 2, and over 1. So we already on the line here. This makes it easy. So we know where that intersection is. We can still go up 2 and over 1. But we basically know where the intersection is where I have my blue dot here. So let me use my line tool and make it go straight through that blue dot as best as I can. It's right here. So you can see this blue dot is the intersection. My line tool wasn't very good, but we know where this is at. What point? Positive 1, negative 1. So it's 1, negative 1 is the point of intersection. Okay, some of you all are probably going ahead and say, I got it. I wish you could go ahead. And some of you are saying that you don't, but that's okay. Just watch the video again and you'll see it. So now, if you just plug in 1 for x and negative 1 for y, it should work for both equations. So if I plug in 1 for x, 1 minus 2, okay, is going to be a negative 1. That's what I needed to get. If I plug in 1 for x here, 2 times 1 is 2. 2 minus 3, I give you negative 1. It checks out. So you know the solution is 1, negative 1. So you just put it on the line with the solution. Okay, I'm going to do one where you have to change to y equal. Okay, look at number 9. Number 9. Okay, so you have the first one is already in y equals. So let's go ahead and graph that. What is the y-intercept? You got it. It is 5. Y'all are so smart. There you go. We're going to mark it right there. So what is the slope? It's negative 4. over 1. So I don't have enough room to go down. So I'm going to go up 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, and I want to create a slide. So I have to go this way to the negative 1 over 1 because I want to connect these 2 points to where it looks like I'm going down a slide. Am I going down a slide? Yes, I am. So there you go. Now, that's the first graph. Now we cannot graph the second one unless we change it to y equals, or slope intercept form is the correct verbal way to say it. So we have to divide everything by what? We have to divide everything by 3. Okay, we're not dealing with inequalities anymore, so you don't have to worry about reversing the sign and all that stuff. So we're just going to divide everything by 3, and that changes it to y is equal to, that's going to be a negative 4x, so you know you're going to have a negative slope again, plus the y-intercept is 3 will go into 15, 5 times. So now we're going to graph this on the same graph. So we're going to go, our y-intercept is 5, so this is 5. Mark the point. Oh, barely can mark it here. So I'm going to change the color so we can see it better. That's 5. So the negative 4, so we're going to go down 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. So we want to go down a slide. So if we go down and it's a negative, we have to go which direction? So we're gonna have to go this way. Is it a negative divided by, okay, over this way. So if I go down 1, 2, 3, 4, and over, hey, look what's happening, class. Looks like what? It looks like it is not going to intersect, right? It looks like, hey, it looks like it's gonna be, well, parallel. Looks like it, right? So that solution is going to be no solution. But look at something else that's interesting. Look at the slope. The slope of both of them is negative 4, right? You have a negative 4 for the one we just changed. So it's negative 4 slope. And we have a negative 4 slope for the first one. So that tells us in the rules, you can write this in your notes, if you have the same slope, it always graphs a parallel line. See, I wrote it in green. Same slope graphs a parallel line, okay? So, what did I say is the solution to this? Parallel lines, you have no, it doesn't intercept, okay? So what is our solution? It has no solution. That means it doesn't intersect, nothing's in common, so you can just put no solution. Parallel lines, no solution. If they intersect, it's one solution like we did up here. And if they have the same line on top of each other, it's infinitely many solutions. Now, I want you to try to do as much of the packet as you can understand, starting with Thursday. Let's see, and Friday. Is it solve each system of equations by graphing or table? So you don't have any graphs there. So to solve by graphing, I guess you'd have to draw your own graph, or maybe I'll have to furnish it. I'm not sure. So that's Fridays anyway. So let's go back to Thursday's work. And once I get back, I think you can do all of these. Just compare your answers. If you have any trouble, ask your partner. I think somebody may have gotten what I'm saying. I hope so. So you all have a great day today, okay?